Alright, we're reading from World Politics. Geoffrey Haynes, Peter Ho, Shaheen Malik, Lloyd Pettiford. And the copyright, bloody fuck. Copyright Pearson Education Limited, 2011. It's chapter 15. Wherever chapter 15 is. Chapter 15, the European Union and the African Union. Introduction, the European Union, the African Union. Conclusion. After reading this chapter, you will have gained an understanding of the following: structures and processes of the European Union, structures and processes of the African Union, how the EU and the AU are similar and different. Introductory box, Euroscepticism. We all hate Europe, or do we? The European Union, EU, has been in existence since 1992. Before that, there was another, smaller organisation called the European Economic Community, EEC, created in 1957. And prior to that, there was the European Coal and Steel Community, ECSC, which was founded in 1952. The overall point is that our European-wide organisation has been in existence since soon after the end of the Second World War. Now, over 50 years on, many Europeans are not convinced that a European-wide entity of this kind is a good thing. Euroscepticism is a general term used to describe various forms of 1. Criticism of the EU, and 2. Opposition to continued European integration, that is, the gradual coming together both economically and politically of the member states of the EU. One of the main complaints of the Eurosceptics is that integration weakens the nation-state and undermines national identity. Other Eurosceptic concerns include that the charge Other Eurosceptic concerns include the charge that the EU is undemocratic, a top-down organisation that pays little attention or concern to the problems and aspirations of ordinary people, or that it is too bureaucratic, dominated by unelected, overpaid civil servants. A periodic European-wide public opinion survey known as the Eurobarometer found that support for the EU was lowest in Hungary, Latvia and Britain. It's been 3 minutes. Introduction. To what extent does a regional organisation manage to achieve their objectives? What more might it do to gain greater success? To what extent are member states prepared to allow regional organisations to act independently in international relations? The main aim of this chapter is to examine what regional organisations do in international relations. There are numerous regional organisations of various types, so to make our task manageable, we shall look at 2 important regional organisations in some detail: the European Union, EU, and the African Union, AU. We will compare and contrast their key institutions in order to draw conclusions about their differences and similarities. At the end of the chapter, we shall be in a position to 1. Understand what roles these regional organisations play in international relations. 2. See how successful they are in dealing with the peace and security issues with which they are concerned. Many international relations scholars would agree that, despite all the changes we've seen in the world in recent years, states are still the key actors in global politics. Many aspects of globalisation, including extensive economic interactions, expanding communications links, major environmental interactions and overlaps, collectively encourage. What do they collectively fucking encourage? Individual governments to cooperate in order to achieve goals that, acting on their own, they may not believe they can achieve. Oh my God, believe and achieve in the same fucking sentence. Jesus Christ. The implication is that today no country is fully self-sufficient or capable of living in complete isolation from the rest of humanity. This state of affairs suggests that the very concept of national sovereignty, sometimes called independence titi or autonomy titi, is now much less certain than it once was. In some regions of the world, especially Europe titi, this realization has led to highly structured attempts to promote cooperation across state boundaries in the form of regional organisations. The most far-reaching of these efforts thus far has been the EU. In some regions, such as sub-Saharan Africa, the success of European integration efforts over the last 6 decades have led to copy-pussy attempts at regional integration. Examples include Africa, which we examine in this chapter in comparison with Europe, as well as parts of Asia, Latin America and elsewhere. The key issue we examine in this chapter is, thinking about regional integration in recent years, how has Africa done compared to Europe? The European Union. Background and history. What makes the EU distinctive in today's international relations? According to British academic Ben Rosamond, the EU is by some distance the most developed project of regional integration in the world. This is largely because it has a mature set of institutions, Rosamond 2002, 498. The current advanced stage of EU institutional development is the culmination of more than 5 decades of integrative efforts involving growing numbers of countries, increasing from 6 to 27 over the last 6 decades, since integrative attempts began in 1952 with the inauguration of the European Coal and Steel Community, CBOX 15.1. Over the last 60 years, the EU has pursued multiple economic, cultural, security and political goals, leading now to an advanced state of regional integration. It has been marked by stages of institutional development with several key milestones. The most prominent are the Treaty of Rome, 1957, and the Single European Act, SEA, in 1986. The SEA was signed by the then 12 members of the European Community, CBOX 15.1. And I was so let's not go there. The SEA was particularly important because it established a single European market defined as an area without frontiers with free movement of goods, services, people and capital. It was the first major revision of the Treaty of Rome, signed 3 decades earlier. In addition, the SEA allowed